Hey y'all, long time no see. Tiny little health update. I finally got to go to the neurologist and basically didn't learn very much other than they're going to do another MRI and I guess we'll just go from there. So I'm having good and bad days and I'm just trying to make it as best as I can. But I was hoping to get this video out because I find it so helpful. This is where I use the moon phases and the astrological signs to know what things are best to plant at certain times. I'll go through it all and explain it a little bit as best as I can. But this is a really cool system. I have been using this for a long time, especially the moon phases. And also, I used to do this always in a notebook, but I've pretty much strictly switched to Notion. It's just so much easier, and I don't have to spend as much time doing stuff by hand, and I'm not like doing multiple things of transferring. It's just a lot easier, but you can always just do this in a notebook if you want, or a calendar, or whatever works best for you. But where I started and what always is like, if I could only pick one, I would do is the moon phases. So that you have a dark moon and a light moon based upon like the full moon and the new moon. So we start off the month in the above ground light moon stage. And then we have the full moon on the 3rd, which is actually going to be like a full blood moon eclipse, which is kind of cool. I don't know if I'm going to wake up early enough to see it all, but we have that. So whenever we have the full moon, that is like the most light day. So then we're going from the light part to the new moon, which is like no moon. So that's considered the dark moon phase. And we stay in that dark moon phase, let's see, all the way until the 18th. I think it's actually like the 18th at like 7 p.m. if I'm not mistaken, and then it changes and we'll be in the above ground or light moon phase. Here we go, all the way, I think it was until April 1st. Here we go. And whenever it's the dark moon phase, that's when you plant your plants below ground, like your carrots and radishes, potatoes, those types of things. And when it's above ground, that's when you plant like your tomatoes and pumpkins and those types of things. So that's like the first thing I started doing well over a decade ago, and I noticed that it made a big difference. And then I started learning about the astrological signs. This is where it's like planting by the signs. And I started having really good luck with that as well. Now, I don't follow this 100% to a T, and especially since I'm kind of been sick, I'm just going to use this, let's just say, as a loose guide. So I do this as best as I can. So we're going to start off March with the above ground, but it's no planting. So this is like Leo, the heart, and those are days that you don't do planting. Those are days that are best for weeding. That works great to do that. And then the 3rd through the 4th are flowering signs. Those are best not to plant vegetables on. I honestly have messed with this and I don't know how I feel about it. I really haven't noticed that big of a difference. So I'm kind of on the fence about that one. But we continue on to see, that one was Virgo, the bowels. And this just keeps going all the time. What am I trying to say here? I'm trying to get this thing to work. So whenever you have all these signs, it just changes whether it's 2 days or 3 days or 4 days, and you just keep going the same way each month. Okay, and then here's our next flowering sign. I think that this one is Libra, the rains. Why do I keep doing that? Okay, well, let's try and get off of here. I'm trying to remember how to do this. Okay, so there we go. Okay, and then after that, I'm still trying to learn Notion, if you can't tell, but it's going to make it a lot easier next month because I could just move the dates, change the dates, and it'll be so much easier. So then after that, Saturday the 7th through the 9th are very fertile days, and that's Scorpio, the secrets. So that will always be, Scorpio will always be very fertile. And this is like the best of the best day to plant. So, and this is also in the dark moon phase. So this would be like the best of the best days to plant like your carrots and radishes and those types of things. Potatoes even, that would be really good. Then we're gonna move on to the 10th and the 11th. That is the Sagittarius, the thighs, and that's fertile days, which are decent days, like pretty good, kind of so-so days, I guess. So we have that, and then also on the 12th through the 14th, it's the same way. It's fertile days, so-so days, and that's Capricorn, the knees. And let's see, we also have the 15th and 16th. So we've got a big long stretch here of below ground days that are fertile days or so-so days. And also on these days, the 10th through the 18th are also good days to make changes. So like if you have kids and you're trying to wean them, let's see, if you're trying to start exercising, stop smoking, any bad habit or anything like that, those are supposedly great days to do that. And I've heard some people swear by that, especially whenever they're like trying to wean their children or like even take away their pacifier or anything like that. They swear by that and said that it has made a big difference. So then we're going to move on to the 17th and 18th, and this is very fertile. It's Pisces, the feet, and all of that's still going to be below ground. Then we're going to switch to the light moon phase, which is above ground plants like tomatoes, peppers, those types of things. The first few days, the 19th and the 20th, are no planting days, so those are like weeding days. It'd be a good day to like get your bed prepped and everything. And then we're going to move to the 21st and the 22nd, which are very fertile days. And another thing I forgot to mention, so this will be like the best of the best days to get your above ground plants in. So if you could put out your peppers and tomatoes and all those things, you can even like start seeds, like if you're growing corn or something like that, you can direct sow all of that. That would be good to do on this day. And another thing I forgot to mention about the moon phases is if you have things in your garden, say you needed to add gravel or you needed to build a fence, or even if you're doing like stepping stones or even just planting trees or bushes or whatever, those are best to do in the above ground phase. And I have tested this and this really is true. Like if you do it in the below ground phase or the dark moon phase, they will sink and you will like have like, especially if you're doing plants, they just sink into the ground and the soil goes down further and you'll just have to add more soil. And I've also done it with gravel too, and it really does make a big difference. So always do that in the above ground or light moon phase. And then after that, on the 23rd and 24th, this aligns perfectly above ground for our beans and pea day. This is like one of the ones I swear by. I struggled with peas for the longest time until I started doing this. And this works out perfect too because it's later in the month and my garden still is nowhere near prepped. I did get our flower garden with help. Got it sorted better, so we do have that, but yeah, my garden needs a lot of work, so I'm really glad that that's later in the month because that's one of the first things that I put into the garden. After that, we have another set of very fertile days, which is Cancer the breast, and that's 3 more days. So if you didn't get it on the 21st and 22nd, you still have the rest of that week to get it done. And then the 28th and 29th are no planting days. Those are weeding days. Let's see if we can figure out. Yeah, this is Leo the heart. And so always Leo the heart is a no planting day. It's basically just weeding and you don't like start seeds or anything like that. And then the last few days is Virgo the bowels, and this is when you're supposed to plant flowers only. And I have had really good luck with doing flowers like that too. So this is also going to be in the link below with to where you can get to this on Notion. And if you can't or you don't have Notion, maybe you can screenshot this or you can transfer it to your calendar or whatever, and that would work. But I thought this would be really helpful. This has really made a big difference in my gardening, and my plants just seem to be so much healthier and happier. So I hope this helps. Thank y'all all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Take care, and we'll see you next time. Bye.